The 15th of August 2021 here across the Western Pacific. I have a long update for you today. Plenty to talk about from our tropical storm 16W, possibly going to be called Omais, and also some severe flooding taking place across Japan. First, let's take a look at the satellite imagery across the Western Pacific. Yeah, there's our tropical storm. It actually did weaken a bit. Is expected to re-intensify, though, as it starts to near closer and closer to Guam by the time we head over towards Tuesday. Meanwhile, a little tropical low is off the coastline of the Philippines. I'll talk about that as well in just a second. But I would be remiss if I didn't start off with what's going on here across Japan. There has been some very serious flooding taking place, record-shattering rain totals there into Kyushu over the course of the last 72 hours. This almost looks like a rainy season front on steroids, if you will. I mean, you just have that summer instability, that moisture getting pulled in, and this really is just getting triggered up behind our back-to-back tropical systems last week. Now it's basically the same amount of energy. It's just not consolidated into a tropical storm. But regardless, boy, these totals just absolutely insane out there in Sago. 929 millimeters. Nagasaki's also over 800 millimeters has been reported here. And you can see just those totals here, absolutely record-shattering. As I mentioned in Saga, upwards of 929 reported. The previous record for a 72-hour rain total, this is in all storms, by the way. This isn't just for today. Let's go back and take a look at that again. This isn't just for today. This is yearly. Was 557 millimeters. I mean, it just absolutely smashed that previous record. In Fukuoka as well, reports of over 750 millimeters. It's scary. And the end result has been reports of landslides out here, deadly landslides, serious flooding across Kyushu. Thankfully, as we go ahead into Sunday afternoon, there will be a little bit of a break here, but unfortunately, look at Shanghai. There's another low developing on its heels, and watch this as we go ahead into Monday. Western Japan, including around Fukuoka and Saga, where we have seen those reports of serious flooding. More rain is going to be in the forecast, and you can watch this as we go ahead through Tuesday. Basically stays along the Sea of Japan coastline, but some of that moisture is going to trickle over towards Tokyo as well. So it's just back-to-back storms. It's what we call training effect. You get one after another, kind of like cars on a train. And of course, the rainfall accumulation is reflecting this. Let's take a look at that actually as we go ahead through Sunday into Monday. Heavier totals in some of the higher elevations there, but watch our secondary low come through and watch some of those totals just pile right up across Kyushu. An additional 300 to 400 millimeters is possible. I can't stress enough just how dangerous of a situation is out here with these back-to-back storms moving across that area. Check out NHK World. They've been posting some great stuff. Just the videos and photos. It really looks like they got hit by a major typhoon, if you will. But it's just been these persistent, heavy rainfall there across Japan. All right. Meanwhile, as I mentioned, there is Tropical Depression 16W for my friends out here in Guam. Of course, we're keeping an eye on this for you. Winds right now in the center circulation are 35 knots. It actually is expected to weaken just a little bit. So, you know, we got a burst of convection northeast of Chuuk. It's going to move and just interact with the Tut cell there for a little while, but then as it gets closer to Guam, expecting some re-intensification to occur, and according to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, very well could become a typhoon as we go ahead into the latter part of this week. And really, by that point, it is going to be heading the southwestern periphery of the subtropical ridge. It's going to move over some very warm sea surface temperatures. So it becoming a typhoon is not out of the question, but you can just see the overall background flow where this is going to head south of the WestPacWx. Let's time this out for you here. I know if you're out here in Guam, you want to really keep an eye on it. This is by Monday evening, starting to see those winds pick up from the east. The rain showers are also going to start to work their way in on Monday afternoon through the evening hours. And then by Tuesday morning through Tuesday late morning, that's when I do expect those increase in showers, more tropical storm-esque conditions as it scoots just south of Guam. Now, really the guidance pretty concrete on the fact that this is going to pass right or near Guam. So I know if you're on the island, you're thinking, well, there's a cone of air. Yeah, there is. But it's going to be close enough where it for sure is going to create some messy weather, especially as we go ahead through Tuesday. And in the backside of this by Wednesday, you'll start to see Still some windy conditions with gradual improvements. But let's actually look a little bit closer and a zoom here with the wind. So I want to go back one more slide. As we go ahead through the winds, this is through Sunday. Still got that easterly breeze. I got these marked here so you can kind of get a number idea of what we're talking about with those wind gusts, or sustained winds, I should say. As this moves just south of Guam, could be seeing sustained winds about 30 to 50 kilometers per hour, but gusts could be as high as 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. So enough, to toss lawn furniture around for sure, light objects, things like that. Not destructive winds, especially for Guam, but maybe some down tree limbs as it passes on by. All right, I do want to take a look at the forecast for Guam, though, over the next few days. Rain, but not much wind today, tomorrow as well with those easterlies. And then on Tuesday, a few showers also still in the forecast. As I mentioned, of course, there is a few showers in the forecast. I do think Tuesday's wind is going to be a lot higher than not much wind, though, especially by the afternoon through the evening. I should have double-checked that. This is that automated populated data that I use sometimes, and yeah, it's not always that great. But anyways, still getting kind of a handle on these graphics that we just had installed here for our Westpac weather updates. Anyways, all right, so there's the overall flow, our Westpac high towards the north. Meanwhile, back towards the Philippines, you're still dealing with that tropical low out there and some monsoonal flow. All right, so the main points for our tropical system, though, I do want to mention Guam should be watching this, of course, for that risk of some tropical storm watches and warnings. I think the National Weather Service probably will issue them as we go ahead through tomorrow, the day after. Long range could get interesting, and potentially a typhoon here out in the Philippine Sea as we go ahead through the latter part of this week. But for now, Philippine Sea is dealing with a little tropical low. It is coming on shore in the eastern Luzon around the Isabela, over there towards Cagayan and Aurora, actually seeing some rainfall. Yeah, you don't really get too much on the east coast as of late, but you can see right here as we go ahead through Sunday, late morning, that moisture comes on shore and piles up along the Sierra Madre Mountains. Meanwhile, back towards the west, we still have some afternoon thunderstorms in the forecast out there into the Manila area. Yesterday, north of Manila, some large hail was reported. Actually, for the Philippines, large hail. We're talking about quarter size, about that big. Yeah, and then on the region 1, still got those afternoon showers and thunderstorms in your forecast as well. But of course, if you are out here in the Philippines, all eyes are on that guy as it heads off into our direction. But overall, right now, keeping a close eye on that. My gut tells me that probably will intensify significantly as we go ahead into next week after it passes Guam. It's just, historically speaking, that happens. So I wouldn't underestimate its intensity forecast right now. Now with 16W, also be known as Omais. And if it nears the Philippines, it would be called Isang, I believe. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, because that's why I like doing these updates. You guys can write in comment and all that good stuff. Thunder showers, of course, in Bangkok every single day. Thunderstorms, unless it's the dry season, then it's just hot. All right, today into Manila, though, we got some thunderstorm also in the forecast. Meanwhile, off towards Taipei, some light rain there for you with the southwesterly flow. Into Naha, despite the fact Kyushu's seeing record-breaking rains, Okinawa's and some nice weather south of that front. While in the Tokyo, of course, the rain's still in the forecast there for you because that front's still there, and it's just creating all sorts of messy conditions. Anyways, that is all for today. Hey, if you guys have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please let me know in the comment box down below. Thank you very much for all our typhoons. These are the guys that donate $6 a month to our Patreon. And if you like these updates, please check it out. There's multiple tiers of typhoons: Mike, Curtis, Lisa, David, Carrie, John, Lisa, Mr. Dan, Chuck, Jennifer, Lisa as well. Multiple Lisas here. You guys are fantastic. Emmanuel and John Reed, all you guys are just heroes to me. Plus we got our Super Typhoons, which are $10 a month. I'm giving a nice little giveaway for the Super Typhoons. Gonna pick a couple of you guys. Send out a nice little mug I have that I'm trying to make some merch. It's not really open to the public just yet, but I feel like sending some nice stuff out. Thanks for your support. Anyways, that is all for right now. I'm going to keep on covering this story as well out there in Japan with those landslides and severe floods taking place. But I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta. Be sure to check out my Facebook, Twitter. Also, we're posting at westernpacificweather.com. Also, you can follow Western Pacific Weather on Facebook. Lex has been creating great graphics. Some of them I used in today's update. as well. And we just been kind of working together for the last decade now. So that's a good place to get some information. Anyways, if you watched all the way to now, you're a hero in my book, because this was a long update. My analytics tell me that most people leave by now. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching the video all the way through. If you're still watching though, drop me a comment, say hi. All right. As always, thanks for watching though, and stay safe out there.